Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over some wide receivers that have very favorable playoff schedules. These guys should win you matchups. I'm going to be going over some number one receivers only and then some wide receiver duos that should do well. But I do have to give a quick disclaimer. This is going to be from weeks 15 to 17. I can't predict what will happen in week 18 because there's teams like the Eagles, like the Vikings that are probably going to sit some star players in week 18. So I'm sorry if your playoffs go to there, but I'm only going to be doing, once again, week 15 through week 17. But first of all, we're going to start off after you guys hit that subscribe button and drop a like if you please would. You guys are absolutely amazing, killing the support on the road to 1,000 subscribers right now. First off on this list, we have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, week one of your fantasy playoffs, who are ranked 16th against the pass, against fantasy wide receivers, that is. Then week number two against New England, tougher matchup. Obviously, they are ranked 7th, but then finishing it off with the Buffalo Bills, who are ranked 25th. So not that bad of a schedule. I expect Jamar Chase to take a lot of attention away from T. Higgins. T. Higgins can slide back into his normal role, but Jamar Chase is that freak type of elite athlete where if you have him back for your fantasy playoffs, obviously you're playing him, and I would expect him to do pretty solid. Coming in at number 2 here, we have Chris Olave going against the Atlanta Falcons, week one of the fantasy playoffs, who are ranked 29th. This is a great matchup for him to start your playoffs off. Week number 2 against the Cleveland Browns, who are ranked 16th against wide receivers, and then finishing off against Philadelphia. Not as great of a matchup. They are ranked 10th, but Chris Olave is going to continue to get those targets and be the wide receiver number 1 in New Orleans. So I feel confident about starting him in your fantasy playoffs. Coming in at number 3 here, we have George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, the combination wide receivers. They have probably the easiest schedule remaining, other than a team later that I'm going to mention with really no startable wide receivers at this point. But anyways, Pickens and Johnson, first week in the playoffs, they're playing the Carolina Panthers, who are ranked 23rd. Then they get the Las Vegas Raiders, who are ranked 22nd. And then the Baltimore Ravens, who are ranked 27th. So 3 matchups against defenses that are not good at all against the pass. Pickens seems to be that number 1 guy, if you can call it that. Deontay Johnson is still getting around 7 to 8 targets per game. So I'm not completely confident who the number 1's going to be. I'm sure it will emerge over these next couple of weeks. But nonetheless, either of these guys have a very favorable schedule from here on out. Coming in at number 4, we have Christian Watson, who has a very favorable schedule from here on out, going against the Los Angeles Rams in week 1 of your fantasy playoffs, who are ranking currently 24th against wide receivers. So that's a good matchup. Then you get the Miami Dolphins, who are middle of the road. They're ranking 14th against wide receivers, and then finishing it off at Minnesota, who is ranking 28th against wide receivers. Very confident with Christian Watson as he's emerging as that number 1 receiver over Allen Lazard. Doesn't matter if it's Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. They're both giving him a lot of looks, which is great to see. Finishing it off at number 5, and then we'll get into the honorable mentions. We have Amari Cooper with a very favorable fantasy schedule as well. Baltimore Ravens at 27th against wide receivers. New Orleans 21st against wide receivers. Then Washington 15th against wide receivers. The addition of Deshaun Watson, I know there's a couple question marks whether Deshaun Watson is going to be, obviously he's not going to be right back where he was on the Texans, where he was a top tier quarterback. We have to give it some time and see how he performs. So if he's playing good, this will bode very well for Amari Cooper and also Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, all of those people if you have them on your team. If Deshaun Watson's playing bad, then I would lower my expectations on these guys just a bit. Only time will tell though. Now the honorable mentions right here are going to be Texans wide receivers and Broncos wide receivers. I don't know, but if it's up to me, I'm not starting any of these guys. It's up to you guys in your fantasy playoffs. Let me know what you're doing in the comment section down below. The Texans schedule is so easy from here on out. They get the Kansas City Chiefs, who rank 26th against the pass, Tennessee, who's 31st against the pass, and then Jacksonville, who is 20th. So that might be the easiest schedule from here on out, but I mean, it's Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks. Are you really confident in starting either one of those guys? Personally, I wouldn't be, but that's up to you. And then the Broncos wide receivers get Arizona, who ranks 19th, Los Angeles Rams, who is 24th, and then the Kansas City Chiefs, who is 26th. So Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, I don't know if you want to plug one or both of these guys into your lineups. should perform well. It's just a question mark whether Russell Wilson is going to be cooking or not cooking. We'll have to see once the playoffs comes. But anyways, guys, if you learned anything from this video, please consider dropping a thumbs up and of course subscribing to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.